Well, it's July 7th, which is a Thursday. It's slightly after 11 a.m. Pacific time. So you know what that means. It's Wisecrack Live, the weekly time where we do Wisecrack, but we do it live. I'm Michael Burns, joined again by producer Griffin, who, to be clear, is both producing this stream while also taking meetings with high level executives at our parent company and generally running day to day operations at the channel. So if you think you're having a hard day, I would just say maybe be humble in the sight of someone that's doing that much. Is that a fair description, Griffin?
I probably have the hardest job in America.
I was going to say that. Um, so to all the firefighters and first responders out
Yep.
there, bow
Nurses.
before nurses, ER trauma doctors, teachers, all that. Bow before Griffin, who is hanging in his house in a tank top doing a lot of digital media work. Sorry that I doxed your outfit, but it happens. What's up, Dianandan API? I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Vox is here. Negro Superheroes here. Thanks, see ya. But I'm glad you're here. Dude abides. Amazing. Corey Armstrong's here. Oh no, sorry that you were sick with COVID. Glad that you're back. Union Forever. That's a great username. Tavera said, "What are we chatting about?" Um, Anya said, "What are we gonna talk about today?" Brandon said, "Hi." So we'll shoot the shit. Got a good lineup of videos to watch today. Lots of things to talk about. As always, it is your first time tuning in. This is Wisecrack Live. We talk about things, we hang out in the chat, we reflect on what's going on in the channel, talk about current events, and see what's going on YouTube and around the digital media space. What's up, John? What's up, LG? What's up, Richard? Glad to see you all here. And if this is your first time here and you don't know this, this is actually the best chat on any stream on YouTube. You could go to any stream on YouTube, Discord, wherever, and you could hang out in the chat, and you will be left feeling let down after you've experienced the Wisecrack live chat. Um, that's what I think. What's up, Brando? What's up, Waffler? Ken's here too. Do you agree? Ooh, Vox said stream freezing for other people.
It had one hiccup, but it should be
Mhm.
nice and lubed up.
Oh, gross. I hope it froze there so no one had to hear Griffin say that the stream is lubed up. Come on. Um, that was the thing when I was in high school. Sometimes someone would dare you to go into a store and purchase lubricant. Um, why is reading Bertrand Russell's History of Western Philosophy? That's a fun book, but a bold title. You know, who can really give a full history of Western philosophy? It's a lot. Okay, we're smooth now. That's great. Okay, so let's chat. Hmm. Since we've last been together, we've put out one new video. It was on Barry, and as many people watched that video as wanted to go to prom with me in high school. That's not true because 41,000 people did not want to go to prom with me. Um, but that one didn't hit. So it is what it is, and these things happen. But if you haven't watched Barry, check it out. It is a good show. It is dark though. It is dark. It's not like a good hang in that. It's not gonna make you feel good. So with that there, we have something big coming out tomorrow. I will tell you all about it. Um, so the video coming out tomorrow, it's the longest video I think, you all can fact check me, that Wisecrack has ever done. It's over 45 minutes long, and it is on, and this is it's grim, it's intense. I feel like I have to take my energy to like a non jokey place to talk about it, but we did a long video on the history of gun violence in America that really gets into kind of the legacy of guns as an American pastime and the connections between the production of guns and gun violence. And very, very, very sadly, that video was made more relevant, which sucks. Um, so watch that. But we put a lot of work into it. Our head writer Amanda Shirker really knocked the research for that one out of the park. She does research in a really intense way where I'll just I like to Google stuff and she'll say I checked out 5 books from a library that I'm reading today, and it's like, wow. But we do have that video coming out tomorrow. If you are a patron, um, You'll probably get it early. Maybe. Griffin, is that going to go up on? Is that going to go on Patreon early, or is everyone just going to get that at the same time tomorrow?
Every one of our patrons gets our videos early and ad free.
Wow. Okay, so let me talk about this really quick. I do this a few times every stream, so you can plug your ears if you heard this pitch before. We have a Patreon. We'll put the link in the chat. A few things about it. We have a few different levels. There's a $5 level. There's a $10 level. There's a $10,000 level where you get to live in my house. But on the baseline level on our Patreon, you get stuff like this. You get some free audio content. We have a new podcast series, Behind the Crack, where we dive deeper into the videos. It's hosted by our colleague Amelia Bazell. You get all the videos early and you get them without ads. You get access to our Discord server as well. Um, and I say this because, and I think this is a very important and fair conversation to be had. There was a lot of conversation in the comments of one of the recent videos about some people don't like ads and sponsors and all that sort of stuff, which I understand. Like, there's times where I listen to podcasts I like or watch videos I like, and I don't like the ad breaks. And there's even times where I don't love the idea that I'm consuming content by someone who I feel like I have a sort of parasocial relationship with, and now they're doing an ad read, and I don't love how that feels, and I totally get that. But if you really hate that, um, if you're on Patreon, you don't have to worry about ads ever. You get the videos, you get them early, get them ad free. We put out around 8 videos a month. The lowest Patreon level is $5 a month. I am by no means a math genius, but that puts you at about 62 to 63 cents a video without ads. So if you hate watching the ads, if it pisses you off, if you get mad, if your blood pressure is going up, if your cardiologist is saying, Steven, you got to alleviate stress in your life, well, that's $5 a month you could do right there. So, and then at the $10 level, we have philosophy office hours, some other fun stuff. But I only bring this up to say that I value the, I guess, criticisms and good faith complaints from some of our audience. And I know I saw some comments from some people who are regular Wisecrack content consumers and commenters, and I really appreciate that. But there's also the thing, friends. I'm going to really, spoiler alert, society. There's a thing called capitalism. And the way this thing works is that our entire economy is predicated on the creation of surplus capital for a small number of people. This means that most corporations kind of run things exist for the sake of making their boards happy. And it means as well that because marketing is a big part of that, it's not like we live in a world where there's government funds to make content. Now we want to make stuff. We want to have a team that we have that we pay money to make stuff for you, and it means that we have to get them paid. And because we live in the real world and not the ideal world, the way that happens on platforms like YouTube, a platform where stuff is for free, is we get ads from people and things, and it kind of just like is what it is. But I like to have this conversation every now and then because I never want people to feel like that like we could just not have ads or not have sponsors. You know what happened then? We'd all get fired and the channel wouldn't exist anymore. So, but it's an important conversation to have. And I think if you saw our video, we did it on Elon Musk taking over Twitter about a month ago, and we talked a lot about this idea that there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, which is basically a way of saying that when it comes to the way, oh, what's up? Oh, Aoife's here. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're joining live. Wonderful friend of all things Wisecrack. And oh, Aoife, I forgot to. We should let me know if you think we should do a problematic take Thursday this week. You've recommended it before, and you were always right. So if you say to do it, I'll do it as soon as the stream's over. But yeah, all I'd say is there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, which is a way of talking about the fact that we live in a world that's messy. It's tied up in different economic factors, and if our moral standard is going to be that we never consume anything that's tied into unethical stuff, we're a little screwed. But I'm always curious for everyone's thoughts on that. And of course, we always want everyone to know that our goal as a channel is just to make content that we think is good that gets at some stuff that's true, that helps find meaning in a seemingly meaningless world. So as always, thank you for sticking around for that. We love you. We love everyone in the chat. Okay, so today is the day. I know that Vox has seen it. The new Thor movie comes out today, friends. Okay, Aoife said it. We got to do problematic take Thursday later. If you've done problematic take Thursday before, you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, it's on my Instagram. I'll maybe talk about it later. Javier, what's up? You're all special. Everyone here is special. At this point, everyone here is special thus far. So the new Thor comes out. Um, we'll see, friends. Vox, if you want to share your thoughts on it in the chat, I saw your tweet about it. Um, I've seen very mixed reactions to the new Thor movie. I think expectations were high because Taika Waititi's Thor Ragnarok, for many, is like the best of the MCU films. So I'll be curious to see what this one is like. I've heard Christian Bale's performance is good. I'm seeing it in about 4 hours and 17 minutes. If there is stuff to talk about, um, we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on TikTok. Maybe we'll make a video. If there's stuff there to talk about, I promise we'll hit that up. Okay, Vox said it's fine. I'll take fine, I guess. What else has been going on content wise? I'm curious if people have thoughts about The Boys. The Boys ends. The Boys, not the series. The season ends tomorrow, or I guess at midnight tonight. We're working on a video about The Boys right now. Okay, I was just looking at the script. We're going to talk about how Boys is The Boys is a way of talking about power. The way that power structures society, and the way that under power relations, and this actually relates to what I was just saying about no ethical consumption under capitalism,
Oh,
there's not a lot of room for things like
wait a
ethic.
hiccup. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Restart your last sentence.
Okay. Let's all start back. The Boys, a tale as old as time about good versus evil, but actually a show about how everyone's evil because we live in a world structured by power relations and nothing else really matters. But yeah, The Boys has been really good. If you do not watch The Boys, I would humbly say that it's the best, maybe the best show that's currently coming out. I'm trying to think if there's other shows that I like better that aren't part of the Bachelor franchise.
Oh, we've got a Boys on the 25th. Really?
Yeah.
I thought we were doing South Park.
I think wow, everyone, welcome behind the scenes.
Let's do it.
I think it depends on the next South Park. So everyone, we have right now we're planning on putting out a Boys video in a couple weeks. It might get pushed back if the South Park special next week has some juice to it. So there's that. But The Boys finale tomorrow. So let's, on the stream, I'm going to say this. We will talk about The Boys next week a little bit. Maybe we'll watch some clips as well. You know, you'll have a week to catch up by then. What else have people been watching? I don't know if anyone's been watching Miss Marvel still. I've kept up with it. It's fine. I think it's like a fun show. I'm looking at it through the lens of kind of being like a MCU version of a teen comedy, and I'm enjoying it in that way. There's some fun stuff that's happened. Especially there was some interesting dealing with history. I wonder if anyone has thoughts on this who's watching it. This isn't really a spoiler, but the most recent episode of Miss Marvel kind of deals with the backdrop of the colonial situation of Britain and India and the aftermath of that, and the splitting of India and Pakistan around religious lines. And part of my brain says it's cool for the MCU to acknowledge real political and colonial history. Another part of me says, but why are they doing this? And is it kind of exploitative? I don't know. Going back and chat a little bit, Mark says, what if we accept that there's no ethical level of consumption, but at the same time acknowledge that we are, as consumers, just inherently flawed? I don't know if I want to say inherently flawed, but yeah, I mean, think about it this way, right? We could have the most ethical desires or ethical frameworks in our thinking, but we're still fundamentally consumers shaped by market forces. If you look into the history of marketing and the way in which like marketing folks have used psychoanalysis, psychiatry, psychology, neuroscience to pull on our brain strings to foster desire, like I think that maybe that's a flaw, or maybe it's just something we have to deal with as consumers in society. Scylla here, or Skilla, so dropping by to say hi. Capitalism, a reality that is keeping me at work and not chilling with y'all. Thanks for the great content. We'll watch later. Hell yeah. Um, whew. Commercials are Severance Matthews problems.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's keep going. Okay, Vox says this is back to the Thor thing. It's a movie you'll like if you love all Marvel movies. Y says problematic Thursday sounds like any normal Thursday. Well, except on problematic take Thursdays, you get to anonymously offer your problematic takes. Ugh. Um, okay. Dude Abide says problematic take. Post Endgame MCU feels like it lacks the same punch as pre Endgame. I agree completely. I agree very completely. My hot take on the MCU is this would never happen, right? Because under current marketplace conditions, no studio is going to say, we have a thing that can make us a lot of money. Let's step back for a bit. But imagine if they just took 5 years off after Endgame. That would be so fun. Corey says we're all Homelanders, Daddy. Ooh, is that a spoiler? I don't know. Um, John says the boys has been real good. Could say it's fucking diabolical. Ben Johnson Fry says between human Descartes, whose understanding of reality do you find more plausible? Is identity real, or are we just a bundle of random experiences? I think that Descartes' understanding of reality makes more sense in a rational level in terms of like thinking conceptually about the structure of reality. Hume's makes more intuitive sense um, in terms of being grounded in experience. For those who don't know, when we think about Hume and Descartes, two famous philosophers, Descartes sort of one of the fathers of rationalism, which is this is a very TLDR thing. We understand reality conceptually and mathematically, and ideas are what make sense of the world. For Hume, sort of an empiricist, what matters about reality is that we experience stuff, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, we can talk more about that later. Breathing Nerdnum says, I'm hyped for the boys finale. I think Frenchie is about to die in the episode. I want to be super sad. Someone's gonna die. And I'm very upset about it already. Because someone good's gonna die. I think someone bad might die, but someone's good is gonna die. I'll tell you, I think's gonna die, and I don't want this person to die. I think they're gonna kill Starlight. I don't want them to kill Starlight. I have not seen the episode. This is not me spoiling or anything. This is a prediction. I think they're going to kill Starlight, and I think it's going to be devastating. So we can talk about it next week. Um, let's see. So back to the Thor thing. I'm catching up on chat. Okay, we'll get through it all. Vox says it's doing something different. Pre-Endgame was very cohesive. Now it's a very wide universe like the comics. I don't mind the lack of cohesion, but that's fine. So going off Vox's comment there about the MCU, I think this is interesting, right? Because it's so easy now to I think I'm going to weave in a conversation of the MCU and the philosophy of George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. Let's see if I can land it. But in the MCU, we have to remember that we look back with endgame colored glasses and we retroactively look at some of the older movies, and now that we know where they led up to with Endgame, we like them more than we did at the time. And I think we can forget sometimes that, 8 to 10 to 12 to 13 films into the MCU experiment, there was some duds and some things that we didn't like. I mean, Thor the Dark World, friends, that's a movie that just came out in theaters and people went and saw Thor the Dark World and they had to live with that. So I think there's a level of retroactivity where now that we can look backwards and see where it was all leading, we get it. And this is something you get in German idealist philosophy, especially in Hegel. The idea that reason is sometimes retroactive, where stuff is happening and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but we get to this endpoint, can look backwards, and it's like, oh yeah, sort of like if you're ever in a relationship and you find out that the person was cheating on you, normally retroactively you look back and you see the signs there all along. Oh, I forgot we talked about this last time. We can do an advice or relationship help segment if anyone needs it. You know, I don't need it now, but 10 years ago I could use some help with what you do when someone cheats on you. But I have good thoughts on that if anyone ever gets cheated on and needs help. But I think that's one of the issues, right? So to go back to Dude Abide's original comment about post Endgame MCU losing the plot a little bit. Totally, but let's see where we're going. Let's see what they're building because it feels like now it's a lot of pieces on the board and we don't know what's happening yet. So I'm at least still open to the fact that at some retreat where Kevin Feige was camp counselor, they figured it out. Uncle Catfish says they've been waiting to hear our take on the new Dune flick. I mean, we did a video on Dune and I think talked about it a little bit. Dude Abides said any thoughts on the Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe special. It sounds rad. but I haven't seen it. I don't have Paramount Plus,
It's
but
good.
I want to watch that. Dude Vibes, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Vox brings up some other shows. He's loving HBO's The Flight Attendant. Yeah, HBO makes a lot of good shows. I also, oh my god, I just had the biggest brain fart. What's the HBO show about the two comedians? And there's Gene Smart and there's
Hacks.
the other woman. If Griffin's there, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Hacks. Sorry, I
Um,
was muted. I
Hacks.
was screaming
No.
hacks and I was
Yeah,
muted.
I'm like, why did my
I
brain break?
was
Hacks is a really good show. Speaking of shows, I would say gun to my head, one of my favorite shows of the past 5 years is Joe Pera Talks with You on Adult Swim. And before we got on stream today, I saw on Joe Pera's Twitter that the show is no more, and I'm very sad. Um, so that's all. Corey Armstrong likes Miss Marvel. DeVere says there's an idea that power depends on who's wielding it, but I think it's true that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yeah, I kind of agree. There's this thing in Plato's Republic where Socrates is talking about why political rulers suck. And there's this idea where he basically says anyone who's the type of person that would want to be a political ruler is the last type of person that should be a political ruler, if that makes sense, right? The person that has the desire to be that thing is the last person who would be that. I don't know about you all. I'm sure we're all pretty good people. I don't want to be president. It sounds terrible. I don't know why I would ever want to do that. So in the Republic, they basically talk about how you got to like force a good person to lead politically, and they should want to do it simply because they are kind of willing to sacrifice themselves so someone who's horrible doesn't have to do it. And I think there's a lot at play there. Jake says we need a Wisecrack analysis on Triple R. His analysis, epic as fuck. There you go.
I think you're a little behind on the chat too, by the way.
Oh, I'm very behind on the chat.
Okay.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm just trying to catch up.
Okay.
Here, I'll do a chat blast. That sounded gross. A chat blast? Ew. Ew. I apologize. I apologize that I said chat blast. Vox says that Miss Marvel is doing the same work for India and Pakistan occupation as Watchmen did for the Black Wall Street in Tulsa. That's awesome. Ooh, and on Vox podcast, on his podcast, they're having some Muslim scholars on the pod to talk about it next week. That's amazing. Aoife loves Miss Marvel for the good teen comedy and diaspora storytelling. We love diaspora stories, really do. I think it's very fun. But Y says MCU needs to stop. Tech Ninja says, what did I miss? Not too much. Okay, I'm catching up. Corey Armstrong says Starlight.
You don't have to read every comment either.
I'm doing it, but some of them are good. Corey says that Starlight's the only real hero in the boys. I kind of agree, but what about Mother's Milk? Huh? What about Mother's Milk? Okay, catching up a little bit more. Listen. I'll get there. Breathing Nerdum says, imagine Starlight dies and the cliffhanger ending is Huey sitting down and instead of injecting himself with temporary V, he injects straight compound V to get powers permanently. Another prediction. Either Huey or Butcher will end up with powers permanently. I think Butcher is a better call, right? To take the character who hates soups more than anyone else and put them in a position where they have to have powers, I think is kind of amazing. To wrap up our MCU conversation, Vox says there might be too many pieces on the board. A Chad blast. Someone said blast us. I don't want to blast anyone. Zolio says what you're saying is Ted Cruz would be the worst president of all time. Yeah. Him or like God, my brain isn't working today. Who's the governor of Florida? I should really know this. Is his name Rick something? Fuck. Governor of Florida. Do you remember his name, Griffin?
Ron DeSantis.
DeSantis. Yeah. Like a Cruz or a DeSantis. Both people, I think both Ivy League grads. Also, I always love that when rich Ivy League grads then get political and are like, we hate the liberal elites. It's like, you went to Yale, my guy. Yeah, someone like DeSantis wants to be president really bad. Cruz wants to be president really bad. Hillary Clinton wanted to be president really bad. There's lots of people that just want to be president really bad. And it's never the best. Thank you, everyone, for bringing up DeSantis. I'm so sorry that I forgot that. Brando Calrissian says, what is your favorite number? I mean, come on. 42069. Eva says, do we stop chatting to give Michael a break or do we spam just to see what will get him to stop reading every comment? Don't do that. Okay, let's watch some videos. How about that? I want to hit a couple trailers first and then get into some more more in-depth stuff. So Griffin, let me know when you have a chance to put the video screen up.
We are ready to go, my friend.
Good. I got to do this because Eve is going to lead a revolution and try to break me mentally. I feel it happening right now in the chat. I feel like I've given, you know what I feel like? I've given too much power to chat. I keep talking about how good everyone in chat is, and then I'm giving them power. And then rather than using that power for good, I think everyone in chat is drunk on power, and now they want to use that power to destroy me.
Listen,
So,
you have to keep them in line. They're your loyal Zardakar, you know, like the Dune guys.
yeah,
And
it's just like
they're a warrior
it's
race.
like, you know what the question is? What happens when the chat blasts back? You know, it's like I chat blast, but what happens when the chat blasts back at you?
You stare into the chat long enough.
Yeah,
it blasts back.
The last thing I'll know from the chat for a second, username Dick Castle. His favorite number is 6669 or 6669. That's fun. That's real fun. Taco Bell, you don't need more power. Okay, cool. So let's watch this one. I've not watched this yet. I got a text yesterday from a friend. I'll just be blunt. The text from my friend said, "So are we all going to go see Clerks 3 and then end our lives together?" And I thought it was a joke because I thought no one was making Clerks 3. Big Tut just got here. Big Tut, what happened is the chat just broke me, and now we're going to watch some clips so I can take the power back. Okay, let's watch the Clerks trailer. For anyone who doesn't know, and maybe you don't because this is an older person thing, I guess. It's Kevin Smith's it was his first movie, Clerks, I think, or one of his first films, and they've returned to it, and it's really weird they're going back to it now. So let's just watch. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. We got Jay and Silent Bob.
Somebody get over it. Back over. Yeah! That's how we did it in the 90s, son.
And this is my worry, right? That it's going to be a movie where a bunch of really old dudes talk about how it was cool in the 90s. The 90s were terrible.
Can't catch my breath, man.
Really? Should I try mouth stuff?
What is this, a Tinder date? Get off of me. Oh, shit.
Oh, a Tinder date joke. I think they're showing that they relate to the Youngs.
Mr. Dante!
I need an ambulance at the Quick Stop.
Saved my life, man. Wish I had a life worth saving.
What are you talking about?
Sit around and watch the same movies over and over.
I always thought you could have made a cool movie.
You're right. I'm living on borrowed time. No more watching movies.
Oh, wow. So is it going to be about how we're all wasting our life just consuming content and watching movies? I don't know if I want that.
Make a movie!
What's the movie gonna be about?
It's about him working here.
Meta.
Everything in the script is something
Oh boy.
either me or someone
It's going to be about how they wrote Clerks.
I know said.
I'm not even supposed to be here today. Maybe Jay and Silent Bob could be characters.
Jay and Silent Bob are like C-3PO and R2-D2. They've been here since the first movie, which was the last time they were cool. But they've been with the franchise so long, they still give them cameos and put them on the lunchboxes.
Snifty Booches! Please tell me why.
Even the song of this trailer is just fun and disturbing. I forget the name of the artist, and I don't even want anyone to say anything. Oh, it is. Yeah, someone said Lit, so now I can't even talk about it. I can't act like I don't know it. Lit was very big when I was a freshman in high school. There was a time, freshman year of high school, where I had a crush on a young lady who I became friends with, and I still know to this day. And she was homesick, and I wanted to call her to show her that I was a good guy. And I remember she said she liked that song by the band Lit. So like I played it on a CD player in the background when I called her so I could be like, oh, what? Yeah, I'm listening to that. But then she didn't ask and we never dated.
I believe in you.
You should put in that stuff you used to say about the Death Star contractors.
Get sued by Disney? No way.
Now that's what I call acting!
Take off your pants.
What the hell is this?
I added a scene where you get shot.
I'm not letting you kill me off in the third act. What if there's a sequel?
A sequel? What am I, a hack?
I think it needs more weed.
I hate to say this, but that looks kind of fun. I wanted to say, I wanted to just kind of roast that and say it looked bad. That was kind of fun, kind of meta. Um, I think, let's see. Yeah, Vox pointed out it's about Kevin Smith's real life heart attack and mapping that onto the making of Clerks. I don't know. Sounds kind of fun. TJ said, "Who's down to overdose on nostalgia?" I will go back to a comment and listen. I'm blasting the chat now. You're not blasting me. I'm blasting you with this. Tech Ninja said, "Since you have experienced someone cheating on you, is there something that person can do or say to ease your pain?" Listen, it's not on others to ease our pain, but I will say when you get cheated on and you get upset, it's because you're viewing another person as this perfect thing that represents values you're projecting onto them. But it feels better when someone cheats on you and you realize that they're just like a fucked up person the way that you're a fucked up person and they're dealing with some stuff emotionally. And for me, it was a good lesson in learning that people are complicated and messy, and doing a bad thing doesn't make a person a bad person. That sounds like hippie self-help talk maybe, but it was a very crucial lesson for me that no one's perfect, and sometimes we can be too judgmental, especially those of us who like have a proclivity towards thinking about things like philosophy and ethics can sometimes get in our own ways. But that's, that's a little, just a little idea here. Dude abides, they're not in the chat. Marlon, glad you're here. Blastception. Okay, I'll see Clerks 3 probably. Who am I kidding? I'll probably watch that. But yeah, Brando said, "How are you doing today? Physically, mentally, emotionally. Physically, I need to exercise more, but I'm well hydrated right now, so that's good. Mentally solid, a little tired. I'm a little tired. I've had a tiring couple of weeks, so I'm excited to catch up on sleep this weekend. Emotionally solid, you know. My partner is currently out of town, so I'm home alone. I like it better when she's here, but it's giving me time to. This is gonna sound like I'm crying out for help, but I'm not. When my partner's not here, I can get back into one of my favorite shows, Alone, the survival series where people get dropped on an island alone with grizzly bears and they have to survive. And one time I was telling a friend that when my partner was gone, I loved watching Alone, and he was like, "So when your partner's gone, you indulge in a TV show about people who are isolated, alone, and struggling to survive?" And I said, "Yes." And he looked at me, and I got what he was going for. Um, DeVere said, "Did you get cheated on, Michael?" I did years ago. I've talked about this before. I talked about it on Culture Binge if you were ever there. And Brando, thank you for asking. I hope you're doing good as well. I think something that happens sometimes with all of us here at Wisecrack is we go through seasons of. There's a word that our former coworker Joy, who's one of the best people in the world, invented called scranked, and we'll often talk about being scranked because the world of constant content creation can make you feel a little scranked and behind. And sometimes we go through seasons like that at Wisecrack where various people are a little overworked. So there's another trailer that I haven't watched it. I intentionally didn't watch it because I wanted to watch it with you all. And this is something I'm very excited. What's up, Kayla Fried Lee? Glad you're here. So this is the trailer for Nathan Fielder's new show. I don't know if many of you watched Nathan For You. I would put Nathan For You in my top 10 comedy adjacent shows in recent years. I'm very into awkward comedies and things that have like a real life element. That's why I loved the show Jackass. I like a lot of the stuff Sacha Baron Cohen has done. And I very much like things Nathan Fielder has done. He has a new show coming out on HBO. All I know about it before we watch this trailer is the premise of the show is he gets in touch with someone who's in an uncomfortable position or is about to have a conversation they're afraid of and allows them to rehearse it. So I think to touch on the topic of cheating, it would be like if you cheated on your partner and you had to tell them, Nathan Fielder would construct a set and get a cast so you could practice that conversation of being like, hey Susie, I cheated on you, or something like that. You'd probably do it better than that. Greetings from Prague. What's the latest or newest exciting philosophy book we should be reading? One of my favorite, I'll give you two people that I love a lot. I've said them before, and maybe I'll think of some other people, but two philosophers who are writing these days, who are young, fun people I like a lot, are Adrian Johnston, who is an American philosopher based in New Mexico, and Katrine Malibu, who's based in France. Adrian Johnston has a system of philosophy called transcendental materialism. I love it. Mixes stuff like Zizek and Hegel and biology and radical politics, and it's very fun. And he's a great writer. His books are awesome. Catherine Malibu, very cool. She is a PhD student, or she was a student of Jacques Derrida back in the day, but her work mixes sort of French philosophy, German philosophy, and neuroscience. So she's very big into thinking about the relationship between philosophy and the brain. She has one book, it's called like What Should We Do with Our Brains? That's about neuroplasticity and neural trauma and what it says about subjectivity. And once I had oysters with her. It's very nice, you know? Share a good plate of oysters with someone. It's like your friends for life. So those are two people that I think you could check out. Oh, okay. So Ava says, Michael, before you move on, please say print. It's been annoying me for a week. So Ava had made a comment about, or maybe I made this comment and she responded to me. I forget who started it, Ava, about words that I wish I could say like how an Australian says them. Now, in my mind, this is going to be very bad, what I'm about to do. Australians say the word print kind of like print or like print or something like that. If Griffin's listening, he's probably clawing his eyes out. But there's like a print kind of thing. I'm so bad at Australian accents. How do Australians talk? I don't know. It's fun. But I don't know. I was thinking about the word print and kind of this like print thing. This sounds terrible. Ava right now is probably going to send an Australian assassin to kill me. But something like that. I hate that I did it. I'll never do it again. But I will say for the chat, if there is a word that you wish you could say in another dialect or accent, what would it be? I guess it makes the most sense for English, because if you are from Mexico and you say, oh, I wish I said películas like how they do in Colombia, it's just not going to make sense to me. But hey, so yeah, let's see. Mark said, one important thing I discovered when I was cheated on was that all the anger and indignation only ever affected me. Yeah, that's very true. This is like life lesson stuff, friends. There's often we get mad and we're at someone else, but it just affects us negatively. Jimmy Nails, great username, said, yeah, like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. Let's see. I love, come on. I like that there's an earnest question in chat from a ridiculous username. I will say it. Username, I love big tits, says, how did you meet your significant other? I met her in a coffee shop when I was writing the 5th chapter of my PhD dissertation. I had a big Zizek book to my left, and she was in the same coffee shop working on poems. And I was very annoyed at her because her and her friend in this coffee shop took up 2 tables, but there was just 2 of them. And I'm very rule oriented. So I thought, there's other people in the world, guys. Let's clear some space. Aoife, I'm glad that I said that completely wrong. Yeah. But if you could say any words like an Australian, let me know. If you're from Australia or Britain, what would you want to say like an American or Canadian or something like that? I don't know. Accents I like a lot. I'll say them. I like a sort of Glaswegian Scottish accent. Very fun. West Coast of Ireland accent. Great. I don't know regionally which Australian accents I find fun. And I definitely know I like New Zealand accents. A lot of people from around Auckland speak in a way that's very, very fun. Oh, Kayla, that sounds awesome. Glad you're liking that book. Old Man Puzzle says, what was your opening line to your lady? It's going to be hard to say this in a way. Okay, I'll tell this story real quick, and then we're going to get past that. There's a thing in poetry, and there's a form of poetry where the poem is oriented around the end word, E-N-D word. And my now wife, then stranger, and her poetry buddy were talking about the end word. Now, I'll just say it, both of these people were Caucasian in skin tone. And what I heard this guy saying, not my partner, her friend, was, I am the N word. I found this very disturbing. And my face was visibly like, what the fuck is happening? My now wife made eyes with me. It connected with her. And I just said, hey guys, just so you know, it sounds like you're saying N word. So that was my opening line to my wife. So there you go. Let's get back to this Nathan for you thing. Brando said, what's your favorite coffee drink? Either black coffee, oat iced latte, and I love when people mix coffee and tonic. Okay, let's watch the Nathan Fielder trailer. I'm very excited about this, friends.
I've been told my personality can make people uncomfortable. Hey, how to make
Just right off the bat with this guy. Right off the bat. I've been told my personality can make people uncomfortable.
love all night.
Oh, well, you know.
I think we're gonna get along pretty well. But I've learned that if you plan for every variable, a happy outcome doesn't have to be left to chance. This conversation's going pretty well.
Yes.
So that's no accident.
Just showing up. We're watching the trailer for the new Nathan Fielder show.
Everything that's happened today, I've rehearsed it. Hey, hi, Nathan. Dozens of times. In a replica of your home. This is what we can do for you and you.
You know, just off the top of my head, I would say, sure, let's go with it.
This is gonna be fun.
It will be.
My goal is for your rehearsal to reflect reality.
The government has Sasquatch liaisons.
That man just says the government has Sasquatch liaisons. Wait, Kane's Chicken. Logan's here. I'm going to dox Logan in the chat. Logan's a Wisecrack writer who's written some of your favorite videos.
I love you, Daddy.
With this show, if your performance isn't accurate, you could ruin someone's life.
Ring around the rosy. Every time's the right time to show up.
This is all sort of absurd.
Keep them crying. Don't let up.
Okay.
I gotta tell you something.
I don't want to talk to you again. Do you find it's been healthy for you here?
Are you sure you want to do this?
I don't really like lying to people.
You're a liar.
Yeah, neither do I.
You're Willy Wonka and Charlie Buckets.
He said, you're Willy Wonka and I'm Charlie Buckets.
I'm the bad guy in
Well, but he's a dream maker.
Okay.
And you're making some dreams happen for
But
me.
kids died in the factory?
Well, they supposedly died.
I'll read the book again just to look into it.
July 15th. I don't want to wait that long. Is there going to be another little clip after this? No, just discover more. I don't want to discover more. Wow, I'm excited. I don't... Yeah, Christopher, hopefully that story gets me canceled. I just want to keep doing this stream until I get deeply canceled and can just give up at that point. I think that would be the goal. I'm excited. I like what Nathan Fielder does in his shows a lot because I dig the idea of finding absurdity in the everyday and sort of really focusing on the way in which certain normal interactions or things we do can be heightened to point out the weirdness of those in general. It's a fun strategy. Oh, yeah, and Logan brings up the Abita flag. I know about Abita. I like Purple Haze beer. I think that's what one of the ones is called. Jackson asked if he's a Willy Wonka apologist. I hope not. I really hope not. Oh, that's the real Jackson. Jackson's the king of Wisecrack editors. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel, skip intro. I told you to do this last week. Please do it. It's on Wisecrack. He has a great Patreon too. And if you enjoyed the Supreme Court video a lot, and if you enjoyed the editing, that was Jackson. He's the best. Yeah, Mark recommended Fear and Trembling. I think that's a great first Kierkegaard book. I like The Present Age or Two Ages, depending on the title, if you can find that. And I think Repetition is really good as well. But they're all kind of a pain in the ass. So any Kierkegaard book, I think dive in, but take your time and don't judge yourself if only bits of it make sense. Ultima Shao said, watched Thor. One person who's been here has watched Thor. I'm seeing it later today. We don't get early access to movies at Wisecrack because the industry's afraid of us. They're afraid of what we would do if we got early access to movies. So there you go. Brando Calrissian says, here's a topic I think about a lot. How do you make a career out of something you love, but you're afraid of fame? For me, it's music, too much success. I think that you shouldn't try to make a career out of something that you love. I think that if that works out for you, that's awesome. The danger of connecting career with passion and value is that if you try to make a career out of something you love, let's say in your case, music, and you don't make music your living, then that logic can circle back and sort of have the effect of saying that, like, oh, well, you must not be good at music if you can't make a career off of it, when in fact people that are bad at music will make millions of dollars off of it, and people that are amazing musicians will never make money off of it. There's a good Wilco song called The Late Greats about this. And there's a book by, I hope I don't say her name wrong, Mia Takumitsu, that's called something like Do What You Love. And she wrote this great book, and there's a short article version of it on The Atlantic or something that's about the myth of that logic of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Because again, it ties our personal value to our ability to make money on a marketplace. And I think that, I know a lot of people in Los Angeles who moved to the city to become an actor, a comedian, a director, a cinematographer, a musician, an animator, all these sorts of things. And let's be honest, most people will not find success in the thing that they moved here or any city that's known for creative industries to do. And I think the risk is you give control to the market, right? Like, I don't know. I'll be vaguely personal for a second. Like, I live in the city of Los Angeles, and I've, I have tried to do things and applied for jobs and auditioned for things and sent scripts out and stuff like that. And at a certain point, you realize that you give a lot of control to other people if you wait to make your own stuff. I'll use producer Griffin as an example, friends. He can just listen as I talk about it. But producer Griffin is someone who, before he worked at Wisecrack, and I assume he still does, makes very fun online videos. He's someone who has made stuff rather than waiting for someone to make stuff for him. He runs a monthly comedy show in LA where he makes the thing that he wants to make. And I think it's a thing where, like, hopefully at some point, Griffin leaves us for the world of absurdist comedy fame. But if he doesn't, or if he doesn't right away, it's cool that he's making stuff that he likes and he thinks is funny and putting that out in the world. I think the same thing with music. Like, make the music you want to make, but don't wait for someone to pay you to make it, I guess. Because I don't know. I just think sometimes when I look at my friends, a lot of my good friends are in their mid-30s. A lot of the happiest people I know are ones who have found jobs that are just jobs, that don't take up too much time, that give them a decent amount of money to where they can spend time doing the stuff they really love. So I don't know. That's, again, we're getting a little self-helpy today. Javier says, tell us your controversial opinions about Federal Reserve instant rates. I don't know. Oh yeah, Jackson could ruin me. I realize this. So Jackson says I have a reel of Burns' most cancelable outtakes too. I tend to lose my mind a little bit whenever we film, and I say things that get recorded that I hope never get out. Although I'll say this, in the video coming out tomorrow on American violence, because it wasn't a funny topic, we tried to not like make the script funny or jokey. Instead, I got to riff a little bit. There's one thing in particular that Jackson has kept in that video that I'm shocked made it in there. But good. I'm glad he did it. So everyone check that out. And definitely, again, follow writer Logan, who's here, Logan Reese, who writes a bunch of our videos. Find him on the internet. Find Jackson, go to his channel, skip intro. These people are great. Griffin makes other stuff. And here's an example, right? People who work at Wisecrack, but almost everyone has like other stuff that they do. Griffin does live comedy and recorded comedy and other stuff. One of our head writers recently won a screenwriting competition and does lots of cool things in that space. Someone else we work with runs podcast and is a semi-professional arm wrestler. That's not a joke. They really are. Our colleague Lux runs a live wrestling show in Texas and makes comedy videos. I do live comedy and music. Like, everyone does other stuff. And I think that's kind of maybe a healthy way to be, because also if you do your other stuff outside of work, if you lose your job, you're still kind of happy, or you still have some value there. Christopher says, making a fresh batch of strawberry wine. I gotta try this strawberry wine sometimes. Alex says, any upcoming anime videos? I don't know if we have any on the docket right now, but Alex, let us know what you want to see us cover. And Vox says, doing what you love doesn't mean you never work a day in your life. It means you work all the fucking time. That's the other thing, friends. You don't want to work all the fucking time. Zolio said, "Do you ever sell a script?" I haven't sold a script. I've had like meetings about scripts and I put things out there. I'm working on a thing now that I feel like has a good chance. I'll be honest. I am. I'll put that into the universe. So yeah. Let's see what else. Catch up on the chat. Oh yeah, the book Steal Like an Artist is really good. If is that the one by Austin Kleon or whatever it is, Paris? That's a really good book for anyone who's thinking about what does it mean to like make stuff and have that not be my job. What does it mean to live a life where you're making things and being creative? Steal Like an Artist is a good book. Also, Jeff Tweedy's book, How to Write One Song, while about music, applies to a lot of other stuff. But the point of that book is saying everyone has time to inject some creativity in their life. So why not? So there you go. Another someone else asking about Triple R, Nathan Fielder, Sacha Baron Cohen, or Jackass. Logan, are you asking a question of like which one? Because that's the hardest question I've ever seen in my entire life. I will remove Sacha Baron Cohen first. Nathan Fielder or Jackass? My head says Fielder, my heart says Jackass. Do what you want with that right there. Yeah, Dashin says fuck, marry, kill. If it's a fuck, marry, kill Cohen, marry Fielder, fuck Jackass is what I would say there. So yeah. Sergio, oh yeah. Javier, I will say this. There's I made a short film with my comedy partner Sean Godsey, who some of you might know in the Wisecrack universe. He's done animation for us. He's been on Good, Bad, Brilliant. He's been on the Rick and Morty podcast. So I'll make sure here's what we'll do. When we put that on YouTube, we can watch it here and I'll live critique myself in a brutal manner. It'll be devastating. Okay, so I have some other stuff I wanted to watch today and talk about. But just a reminder, if you're just tuning in, this is Wisecrack Live. I'm Michael Burns. Producer Griffin is on the line, kind of, but he's doing a lot of other stuff. Griffin's probably stressing right now, because I just saw some messages pop up for a thing that we might have to do that, we're not going to be happy about. I'm not going to say anything else than that. But I'm an oversharer, so I'm oversharing with you right now. We're constantly navigating, friends. How do we get money to keep the channel alive, but not do things that piss you all off? Definitely heard about RRR. I haven't watched it yet, so we'll do it soon. Oh, wow, you're killing Jackass? Crazy. Okay, so let's watch. I did the thing again. I have not watched this video before.
I did something really stupid when I was gone. Do you want to know?
But it's the one where this gentleman went to every rainforest cafe in North America. And I kind of just want to watch it. I don't know if anyone's seen this video before. I've never watched Ted Nivison's channel before. So I know nothing about him. So maybe he's a bad person. Maybe he's a great person. Maybe we already hate him. But as someone who grew up in the suburbs, I'm fascinated by things like rainforest cafes. So I'm curious that that's happening there. Welsh Corgi says, so if a hobby you like starts to stress you out, what should you do? Take a break. Take a break. Why not? I've taken breaks from all of my hobbies over the years, and sometimes you come back to them more refreshed. Christopher likes The Old Man with Jeff Bridges. I want to check that out. So let's watch a little bit of this video about the Rainforest Cafe. It's been on my feed. I've seen it reposted a lot. I like suburban American exploration. So let's check it out, and shout it out if you've been to a Rainforest Cafe. I think I've been to 2. I've been to the one in Orlando, Florida, and Chicago, Illinois. Those are the 2 places I grew up, so it's not shocking. Most places I've been have been in Orlando, Florida, or Chicago, Illinois. The Chicago one I think just shut down though. So yeah, let's check it out. Oh yeah, and if you don't know what a Rainforest Cafe is, in my mind they were originally connected to Disney, but maybe they're not. But it's a restaurant that makes you feel like you're in the rainforest. If you were someone that didn't live in the 90s, this might not make sense to you. But in the 90s, people wanted to do things like eat in a cafe that's like the rainforest. Does the food in a rainforest cafe reflect the indigenous traditions of the various tribes and groups of people that live in the Amazon? I don't think so. Does the Rainforest Cafe somehow benefit the ecosystems being destroyed because of deforestation and farming in the Amazon? Probably not. Of course, there's an irony here because part of the reason a bunch of the Amazon's being burned down is for more cows, for more meat production. And I'm sure they have like a burger at the Rainforest Cafe because every 90s theme restaurant has like its own type of burger. But let's learn about the Rainforest Cafe. If you know more about it, let us know in the chat. And once again, okay, so someone, the Negro superhero went to the one in San Diego. Let us know. Shout out your Rainforest Cafe.
Stupid when I was gone. Do you want to know what it is? This is the Rainforest Cafe. It's a themed restaurant that's decked out to look like a rainforest. They got
animatronic animals. It's kind of terrifying. Horrible place to go on hallucinogenics. If you saw the first 8 seconds of this video and thought immediately, I want to take hallucinogens and go there, don't do that. Ford, it's definitely an American thing.
Animals. The waiters refer to themselves as safari guys. And every 30 minutes, there is a
Jimmy worked at the one in Chicago. Wow.
Thunderstorm that happens within the restaurant. It is the stupidest, most ridiculous restaurant to exist, and I love it so much. And for that reason, I drove almost 10,000 miles to go to every single one of them. What else did you expect?
I saw there was 3 in Florida, and that makes very much sense.
This Rainforest Cafe odyssey began by stopping at the closest location to LA in Ontario, California. It's also where I met up with my partner, Eddie.
Okay, so that's my closest one. Maybe we'll go there afterwards.
Burback. He's dastardly good looking, played a perfect game in Wii bowling, and has a mustache that makes animated Disney movie fathers cry like little wham wham babies. He was perfect. Walking into that random mall in California, I knew that we were about to embark on something truly special.
Initial thoughts? I like it here.
Yeah, it's actually gonna be good. It's good. If the food's bad, he's gonna have a horrible time.
One thing I'll say I like about the Rainforest Cafe aesthetic is that it's not a lot of overhead harsh lighting. The sound of water is nice. Although I do wonder, all the fountains have to have sort of recycled water, and I can smell it now, that chlorinated, bleachy, stale thing, which sounds bad.
I love that smell.
You like that smell?
So I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back to defend that smell. So that smell reminds me of like Disneyland theme parks. It reminds me of adventure. It reminds me of Imagineers, like what they bathe in.
Wow. I guess that's true. The smells attach us to things like that.
Like the the inside of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I can remember that smell right now.
Okay. My favorite ride, if anyone's been there before, is the Norway ride at Epcot Center in Orlando. It's a ride about Norway. Great ride. Jimmy says, I've done that and you are not wrong. I wonder if what Jimmy's referring to is hallucinogenics inside a Rainforest Cafe. Kayla says it was a calming experience. Okay.
Shut the fuck up, Jim. Entering this holy place made me feel like a young boy again. The animatronics seemed so real. And the menu still had some of my favorites from my childhood, including the Gorilla
Grilled Cheese Delight. That sounds like a sandwich with gorilla meat on it. I don't like that at all.
Grilled Cheese Delight and the Jurassic Chicken Tidbits.
Don't call it. I like how the tidbits is trademarked. Why couldn't you just call it a chicken nugget? Why does it have to be a tidbit? I don't know.
What is a tidbit? I'm pretty sure we made our server's day by actually signing up for the Rainforest Cafe members card, which normally wouldn't have much use, but for our specific situation made a lot of sense. Then all of a sudden, without any warning, our first rainforest thunderstorm. That thunder had us shivering in our little boots. We waved goodbye to this first Rainforest Cafe to prepare for our road trip to every single other location of this restaurant.
I mean, of course, what you do wonder in this case, and this says something about America, that I just wonder, are the restaurants all going to look basically the same? You know, because that's what chain restaurants are. I'm looking at this map right now. I'm trying to see if I can say where all of them are. It seems like there's a California, there's a Vegas, maybe that's Arizona. We have 3 in Texas. I'm sure one is in Dallas, one is in Houston. The one in the middle of America seems like it is Nashville or something. Up in the top, what, Minneapolis? I see my beloved Chicago franchise in the shores of Lake Michigan. Another one there looks like it's in maybe Detroit. There's another one that looks like, is that upstate New York or Buffalo or something? And then there's 2 on the East Coast. I'm going to guess a Jersey and a Philadelphia. And then in Florida, it looks like we have an Orlando and a Miami, or an Orlando and a somewhere else in South Florida.
This is the stupidest thing I think either of us have ever done.
I walked out of my apartment and I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be back for 3 weeks because I'm doing this.
There's gonna be so much driving. And we're doing that driving in my 2002 Toyota Tacoma. Forest green, aesthetically rusted from the New England winters.
I'll say it. If we get enough patrons, they'll send us on a Wisecrack road trip. So everyone sign up.
And also the only car that I've...
Is that a threat?
I think so. Oh, Jackson, you're saying maybe that is in Milwaukee. Was it not? Was the one on the map further up Lake Michigan? Maybe you're right. Yeah, it is a threat, Griffin, that you would have to go on a road trip.
I've had for the last 8 years. That's right. I drive myself to high school in this car, and I'm almost 25. The first startup.
When someone says I'm almost 25, I find that kind of offensive because it's like they're saying they're almost old. Come on, man.
Of the truck.
Can you imagine if it didn't?
From LA, we drove 384 miles to Phoenix, Arizona to find our second Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe there's no Vegas and Phoenix is the next one.
You might be asking why I'm doing this in the first place. I was one of the children whose childhood was blessed with a Rainforest Cafe-filled life. It was the best thing that ever happened to my small, tiny, frail body. But that's not...
I'm curious, too, if anyone has a favorite restaurant from their childhood that made them feel that way. There was a restaurant I feel like I went to, was like the Spaghetti Factory, a chain. I feel like I have a memory of being young and going to some place.
Spaghetti Factory is a place, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was one of those in Chicago or the area or something like that. So maybe that's, is there a chain restaurant you liked as a kid, Griffin?
Chain restaurant as a kid? I mean, I love my Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese was cool. Oh, there was a restaurant in Orlando called Bob Marley, a tribute to freedom. That was both a Bob Marley themed restaurant and a small museum about the life of Bob Marley. I will say this, they at least served Jamaican inspired food. And I remember when I was a kid, I bought some like hemp scented incense there that made my parents think I was smoking weed in my room.
Nice.
So, yeah. Abdullah says, I'm 20 and I feel old already. Tuck in, buddy. Tuck in. Hippopotamus says, have I missed the UK PM resignation chat? We haven't had it. You know, Griffin and I aren't British, although I did live in England for quite a while. Boris Johnson is kind of a ponce. It's fun that it's happening. Oh, yeah. Brando said, I used to work at Old Spaghetti Factory. So, yes, I remember Old Spaghetti Factory. I like that a lot. We got a Jollibee, Old Country Buffet, Chili's Baby Back Ribs. Kayla, if you haven't seen it yet, someone posted it on YouTube. It's a video of the making of the Chili's Baby Back Rib song. Yeah. Maybe I'll find it and we could like add it. Maybe I'll look up in a second. I can add it to the stream and we could end today on that. It's kind of one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Gives you faith in America.
Love you too. Yeah. Amari loved going to Friendlies. Yeah. I liked Bennigan's. Bennigan's was kind of fun. Uncle Catfish brought up Discovery Zone. DZ. That place ripped.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There were so many activities that you could do there. That was great. And then someone brought up a Golden Corral. I also liked Cracker Barrel quite a bit. Cracker Barrel is kind of awesome. So yeah, okay. Well, we'll keep going. But if you have other places that are our favorite kind of weird chain restaurants you remember you grew up with, let us know.
Not the only reason.
A popular family restaurant in Johnson County closes its doors.
Popular restaurant.
Whoa, Paris says, Michael, did you study in Nottingham? I think we went to the same uni. Yes, I got my master's degree at Nottingham University. That's amazing if that's where you went. When were you there? Are you still there? You don't have to dox yourself, but I'm curious.
Rainforest Cafe abruptly closes its
The
doors.
theme restaurant Rainforest Cafe has closed its location in the Oak Park Mall.
Outside today,
The Rainforest Cafe is dying out. At its peak, there was 34 Rainforest Cafes in the United States.
Damn.
Today, that number has been whittled down to half. And if I didn't go to every last Rainforest Cafe in the country, I don't know if I would even be able to look at myself. So yeah, here we are at Rainforest Cafe number 2. Eddie and I decided to share the flatbread appetizer, which was served on a very fancy stone platter.
Like flatbread. It's just weird that none of the food has any relationship to the Amazon.
Typical of your higher end eating establishment.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
never
Like,
thought about that.
like, because I think there's other chains that are silly but have some type of thing. Okay, like Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville restaurant. Jimmy Buffett has a famous song, Cheeseburger in Paradise. You can get a cheeseburger in paradise. He has an album or something or a song about Margaritaville. You can get margaritas there, but I just wonder what you do. Welsh Corgi went to a Korean barbecue restaurant with your family in the north side of Chicago. That's awesome. That's a cool family restaurant. Monica, we love you. Thanks for being here. Thank you for loving the chat. Yeah, what would Amazon... I mean, I don't even know because I feel like Amazon food would be some type of like indigenous cuisine from... Peru, Brazil, Ecuador. I don't know what any of that is. I mean, yeah, and I don't know. I just think that that's where we've moved as a culture, where we used to accept chain restaurants that had a thematic that was disconnected from the food, and the food could still just be chicken tenders and flatbreads. I feel like nowadays people want a sort of faux authenticity, where if you have a chain restaurant, there has to be some culinary connection between the cultures that you're sort of exploiting for that. So yeah. Laurent says there's none in Wisconsin. Uncle Catfish brings up that Trey and Matt bought Casa Bonita that everyone knows from South Park fame.
It's also got to be like massive, way more overhead than a normal restaurant to like have these like robots going. So like I see why, like, even if they didn't get the food right, like how many other restaurants have robots? It's hard to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, food costs are already insane in restaurants. Now we're adding robot maintenance to that.
Yeah.
That's why Chuck E. Cheese is all out of business, man. Although Zolio said, I'm sure tidbits are a big part of the indigenous diet in the rainforest. Vox recommends Jekyll and Hyde's in New York City. Ooh, that sounds fun. And Brando rightly points out the Wisecrack fan base is the best. It really is. I'll tell you this, friends. I met last week or before, I briefly met someone in New York who was a Wisecrack fan. Every time I meet a person who's a Wisecrack fan in life, they're just like the coolest people. I met a couple Wisecrack fans at a Dead and Company show a few weeks ago. It was awesome. I was wandering around this parking lot where people were selling drugs and homemade tie-dye, and I met some Wisecrack fans. They fucking ruled. Wisecrack people, everyone who's a part of this community is the best, and we really appreciate you. Yes. Chris says, I want more cultural appropriation in my capitalism. Wisecrack 2022. Yeah, Rosie said I want it to feel like a Parts Unknown episode. Shouts to Bourdain.
And I got a Beyond Burger with one of my...
A burger. Look at that, friends. Look at the taste of the rainforest. You have the same fries you get at every other chain restaurant, probably frozen from the same company. Your orange sauce, your pickle, the same pickle you'd get at so many restaurants. Your piece of lettuce, your singular tomato. The best looking part of that plate thus far to me is the caramelized onions, because they look like they were actually cooked. And I'm sure we've talked about this before. Probably talked about this on the stream. But if you ever worked in a chain restaurant before, you know this. So many of the food items are shipped frozen and they're simply reheated. Not a lot of actual cooking happens at chain restaurants. I had a cousin that got fired from a Chili's for trying to make a sauce from scratch. So in this case, I imagine basically all of this looks like it wasn't cooked, except those onions look like someone actually caramelized them.
My favorite sides, safari fries. What makes
safari fries? Why would they be called safari fries? Safari is the thing you do in the savannah in Central Africa. I mean, I guess there's other rainforests that aren't the Amazon, but you don't do a safari you don't do a safari in a rainforest. That's crazy. Oh, God.
Makes them different from normal fries? You're eating them on a safari. One of the interesting facets of this location, though, was how insanely loud the elephants we were next to were.
It's true. It's so
That's
true.
so disruptive.
The sound mix is super high on the elephants. I remember that now.
Wow. Although, like, it seems like this would be a very calming restaurant for children with ADHD. So if you have a child with ADHD, take them here and they'll just kind of like just be occupied the whole time.
And hey, what's a rainforest cafe
Those gorillas are crazy looking.
without random animal heads sticking?
Ew. The heads are scary. Again, just don't do hallucinogens and go to this place. And it's just like the fetishization of culture going on here is so crazy too.
Out of the walls without very clear proportion guidelines.
With that, we've hit Rainforest Cafe number 2, on to number 3.
I also think before they started this trip, they should have gone to a doctor and gotten their like cholesterol levels, sodium levels, all those sorts of things, and see how it affects them health-wise. You know, but they're young guys. They don't worry about this stuff. When you're almost 25, you're not worried about your LDL cholesterol and your sodium intake. But there you go.
4, and then 5, and then 6.
Okay, where's next? Wow, we're going all the way to Texas. Go ahead, Griffin.
Was I gonna say something?
Oh, I thought I heard your voice. My bad.
No,
I
no.
get your voice confused with the guy in the video. Jimmy, thanks for hanging out. And Jimmy Nails, I'm going to be thinking about you on shrooms in the Rainforest Cafe for the rest of my day. Okay, looks like we're going to Texas.
Somewhere in New Mexico right now.
Oh, New Mexico.
We're about to go camping in the middle of the desert. We're little crunchy granola boys sometimes.
I would say mostly not me, but I'm hoping I have a good experience.
Eddie's a big crunchy
I like
guy.
beds.
Everyone refers to Eddie Burback as like Mr. Groundhog.
I don't know about that. I know that it was Eddie top 10 on trending Burback.
Okay.
Recently, Eddie the King of the Squirts.
King of the Squirts.
Burns, have you been to Rainforest Cafe ever?
I have, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But not. I was very young.
Right.
Much younger.
Because there's the one in downtown Disney. That's like
I've never been to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul worked at a mall with the Rainforest Cafe. The animals always judged me. Yeah. Jackson feels bad for the cats. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, the Rainforest Cafe too. It's actually shocking there's still that many of them in the year of our Lord 2022. I just don't. Also, I mean, I just can't imagine. They have to be so expensive. Uncle Catfish says taking hallucinogens and going to the Rainforest Cafe is the only way to 100% get into heaven. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. You didn't hear it from us because we wouldn't say that because there's probably a legal implication, but. If you believe the Church of Uncle Catfish, that's how you get to heaven.
We're now at our campsite, baby.
I mean, that's where you'd want to do hallucinogens if you're going to do them. But if you're going to do them, legally, safely, whatever.
We're in the middle of
like
nowhere in New Mexico. So
is attacking me.
tomorrow we're heading to the Dallas Rainforest Cafe.
We set up our camp, made a little fire, and as we sat there under the stars, we dreamed of all the Rainforest Cafe visits we had left in store, weeks of experience in front of us. The world was our oyster, or should I say rainforest. That was so stupid. That didn't even make any sense. Just a quick word from the sponsor of this video.
Okay, let's skip the sponsor. Because again, it doesn't bother me that the video has a sponsor. Do what you got to do to make videos. But look at this. I just skipped it. Because I didn't want to watch it, so I skipped it.
Began our 621-mile trek to Dallas, Texas. And when you've got 10 hours of drive time, sometimes roadside attractions...
Continental Divide girl stuff. Pendants and... Oh, girl stuff means pendants and rings. So if you ever want a pendant or a ring, you're doing girl stuff. Brando says they're interested in the philosophy of chain restaurants, fast food. Yeah. I mean, there is, with the chain restaurant and flat food thing, it's like a flattening of culture. It's removing the specificity of place and turning everything into a replicable experience, right? And I think that like that reflects a certain desire under global capital to have everything be controlled and all experiences to be replicable in a way that takes away like culture and sort of the uniqueness of experience, the specificity of place. I mean, I think it's really sad. And this is why a show like Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with Guy Fieri is interesting. Is because he's sort of exploring like the last vestiges of any type of like local dining culture in a lot of America, where everything is taken over. The same way that like we don't have in America as many local grocery stores. It's tons of like Walmarts and stuff like that. And you got to wonder, what does that look like? And if you look at the chain restaurants, here's a fun thing to do. Go to a chain restaurant website, go to the bottom of the page or whatever, and find out what restaurant group they're a part of, whether it's like the Darden Group or some of these other ones. It's, multinational corporations that own all those restaurants. And you got to wonder, what's up with that?
It's become as enticing as ever.
Oh, Eddie, Pistachio Land.
Okay.
Pistachio Land. Have you ever seen the largest pistachio before? Chances are no.
And I'm fine
I kind of just want to fast forward to the next Rainforest Cafe.
with that. I could be on my deathbed and someone would go, "What are your regrets?" And I would say,
I'm going to jump ahead a little
"Definitely
bit because I just want to see some Rainforest Cafes. I don't want to watch these guys yelling. Okay, here we go.
Rainforest Cafe we went to that had fish. Or it could be
Fish!
because of a theory I've held for a while that I was seeing in the flesh for the first time. The Rainforest Cafe Texas Supercluster Theory.
Oh yeah, Vox brings up a class where a colleague does, a class based on the commodification versus artisanal coffee shops. I mean, one thing, of course, is a lot of artisanal or local coffee shops, many of those have unions or collective ownership or things like that. Look at Starbucks right now, where employees are trying to unionize, and Mr. Starbucks himself is very mad. That's his name,
This
Mr.
is the
Starbucks.
Texas Rainforest Cafe Supercluster.
Okay, we got Grapevine Mills, San Antonio, Katy Mills, and Galveston. So it looks like in general, the Rainforest Cafes are clustered outside of major metropolitan areas, not in the cities themselves, except for in San Antonio. So let's hear his theory.
As I've mentioned, which means I think that all of the restaurants in this area are going to be higher quality. They're going to be busy. They're going to have lots of people. Food's going to be good. Drinks are going to be popping. We've barely scratched the surface, ladies and gentlemen, of what we can discover. It's a pretty good sign if a specific Rainforest Cafe is completely booked up. The Galveston one, the San Antonio one, they're both booked up out the wazoo.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
Wait, people make reservations.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Reservations at the
Love that.
I'm gonna go check Open Table for Rainforest Cafe after this. Wow.
For Valentine's Day?
Yes, for Valentine's Day. For Valentine's Day 2023.
Get in now.
Yeah, everyone right now, find your local Rainforest Cafe, make a reservation for Valentine's Day 2023. If you're already in a relationship, that's when you're proposing. You now have a deadline set to put a ring on it. If you're not currently in a relationship, you have until then to meet someone who you want to take on a date to define the relationship in a setting like that. If you're just tuning in, it's Wisecrack Live. Michael Burns, joined by producer Griffin. We are watching this video on Ted Nivens' channel where him and his boy drive to every Rainforest Cafe in North America. Are we doing this as an entryway into a conversation about the commodification of experience, cuisine, and culture in America, mixed with the sort of like fetishization of other cultures? Maybe. Are we watching it because it's kind of fun? Maybe. I don't know.
Now we're served Rainforest Cafes ahead of time.
We cannot afford to not get into one of these Rainforest Cafes.
The Galveston one apparently has somebody said it was a ride. Then I heard it was a water ride.
If there is even a chance that we can go on the Galveston Rainforest Cafe ride, I want it.
We gotta do it.
In my mind right now, I'm
going to skip ahead again, not because their commentary isn't fun, but you know what? There's only so much time.
Rainforest Cafe number 4. It was
that one looks nice.
In a pretty cool location.
Oh, that's really nice. San Antonio Riverwalk? That looks great.
The Riverwalk in San Antonio.
Oh,
We also met up with some pals.
Wonderful.
Yeah, have you been to the San Antonio Riverwalk?
Absolutely. One of the best places in Texas.
Amazing.
Here
That's
that you
great.
may know. This location was cool because it had 3 floors to it. It was really compressed into the location it was in, which was unique to this Rainforest Cafe, I believe. Everyone in the group had a fantastic time, and I was proud to say that we converted them into RFC lovers. Don't believe me? Listen to them.
They gave me a freaking light-up cup, and it was sick.
They had my name on one of the keychains. I really appreciated that.
They ran out of toilet seat covers, but they did have 2-ply toilet paper.
Connor had a panic attack.
We were supposed to drive back to Austin, Texas, where we'd then leave for Houston the next morning. Unfortunately, though, the truck started being a bit louder than normal.
That's not good.
It's not supposed to sound like that. Fuck. So I drove the truck to the nearest Midas repair shop. If we were going to stay on schedule...
Cars, man. Cars suck. What up, Tejas? We're hanging out. We're watching Rainforest Cafe videos.
Well, the truck had to be fixed and fast. To see my broken green child hurting like this was almost too much to bear. But what was even harder to bear was what I had to deal with while I waited for it to be fixed. For some reason, at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, they decided to play Saving Private Ryan on the TV.
That's aggressive. That's an aggressive choice. But the TV at any sort of repair place is always very weird.
At almost full...
Okay. I'm going to assume this car's getting fixed. Let's see some more Rainforest Cafes. Okay, where are we at?
This is a crow.
His name's Abbott.
He's gonna remember my face.
And you know, these animals sort of reminded me...
What the fuck is that?
An emu. So Texas has emus, and they're incredibly aggressive. I've been attacked by them as a child. And they can like rip your throat out if they want to, and they also are really good at getting through your car window and into your car. Like they stick their full head through and get in there.
Everyone just remember the moment that Griffin just got very specific about all the ways an emu could end your life.
Mascots for the Rainforest Cafe. They're called the Wild Bunch, and they're all known criminals. You've got Cha-Cha, the red-eyed tree frog.
Okay. Once again, I appreciate the bits. I just want to be in the place. Oh, is this the ride? That's cool.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. Guys, Aoife, our Australian correspondent, our other side of the world correspondent, our We're in Thursday, and I think she's in Friday correspondent, says that they lost a war to the emus once. I'm not kidding.
Elephant, elephant, elephant.
This is a really intense ride.
To say we were blown away would be an understatement. That was the greatest thing I had ever seen. I almost didn't even want to leave.
What the hell?
I mean, wow.
Wow, this lived up.
Wow. I wonder if you're a Rainforest Cafe employee and these guys show up all enthusiastic, if it's adding some fun and energy into your day, or if it's just really annoying.
Listen, if you're working minimum wage at Rainforest Cafe, it's a passion of yours.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like I've worked at a lot of restaurants. Usually if people come in and they're happy to be there, that's nicer than the alternative. So
yeah. That's fine. Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah. Also, yeah. I imagine people tip bad there. Oh, let's see. Let's go to some more
tourist restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, every time we go to one, you're not tired.
Oh, from Galveston all the way to
okay, we're going.
I was
New
blessed by the
Orleans.
vision of a mascot character advertising a gas station called Buc-ee's, and I just had to make a stop and check out what the hell was going on.
I forced
hitting
Eddie to
every
push a
talk.
Buc-ee's run because
What is that?
They're hitting every Texas hotspot right now. It's triggering.
Yeah. I appreciate the road trip. Okay, here. I want to go to another Rainforest
When
Cafe.
we drove back north to Orlando.
Oh, this is the first one I went to. We're in Orlando now. I have been to this one. Oh yeah, and if you look at, I'm getting close to the screen as if it means anything. So you see under the D in Orlando, there's a town called Winter Park, I grew up just north of there. So kind of like where the D is. I think where the D in Orlando is where I went to high school and stuff, and where my mother still lives. Yeah, Burst into Treat says they have an exhausting energy if you're an employee, in my opinion. Brando says, does pineapple belong on pizza? Anything belongs on pizza if you do it right.
Arriving in Orlando, we met up with our girlfriends who had just flown in. Nice to see ya. And we
look at us.
met up with Drew and Amanda, who would be joining.
They look cool.
Us for this stop at the Disney Springs Rainforest Cafe.
Okay, it didn't used to be called Disney Springs. In my day, it was called Downtown Disney. They rebranded it into Disney Springs. Yeah. It was kind of a cool place growing up. It's where the House of Blues was, and a lot of mid-level bands and like good artists were there. I saw the Wu-Tang Clan there once.
Ooh.
Yeah, my mom went with me. It was very uncomfortable. She shared a blunt with a large man at the bar, and I was confused.
Awesome.
Yeah, but then they classed it up, and now it's Disney Springs. Florida loves having towns and things that are called blank springs. It's very common.
Rainforest Cafe had an exterior that was an even more intense volcano building than Galveston.
Whoa! I didn't know it would do that.
And the classic crocodile for this one was just hanging out next to the volcano. Walking into this Rainforest Cafe, I knew that we'd be convincing Amanda and Drew to join our RFC fan club. The atmosphere was on point. This was a pretty good one. Drew and Amanda were having so much fun that we had to take an RFC fan club family.
Wow, the photo ready to go. Dashing still calls it Downtown Disney. I appreciate it.
Never forget.
Cultural, yeah.
Photo to savor the memory. Look at us. And since our waiter got lost in the jungle for 40 minutes to find our check, we got to spend extra time listening to elephant screams and thunder claps. Drew was practically overwhelmed with satisfaction.
What a time, Eddie. What a time.
Chrissy, if I murdered him, will you vouch for me to the police?
In order to reach the second Orlando-based Rainforest Cafe, we had to venture into
there's 2 Orlando ones. Whoa.
Into probably the most thematically appropriate place for one
it's
to be.
inside Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom in Disney World.
They had to pay a lot to get in, I
the
bet.
most exclusive Rainforest Cafe location, hidden within the confines.
Animal Kingdom seems like a pretty fucked up theme park. That's all.
A transnational multimedia conglomerate. It's Animal Kingdom Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, I gotta say this, friends. They're at a Disney theme park right now. We have a 2-part Disney video coming out, friends. We have a 2-part Disney video coming out. My brain's a little broken. I'm pretty sure we filmed the first part yesterday.
Yeah, we filmed the first part. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to do the update on what's coming out besides just that we have the gun violence video coming out tomorrow, which we're excited about. Knox, we're excited about gun violence because it's the longest thing we've ever made. We put a lot of work into it. Please check it out. It's going to hit the channel tomorrow. If you're a patron, it'll hit the Wisecrack Patreon before that. So check that out. Yesterday, we filmed a Philosopher Reacts video to Season 3 of Atlanta. I just checked out a couple episodes because there's a lot there, but looked at some themes around identity, the limits of existentialism, looked at the work of Frantz Fanon, Lewis Gordon, Frank Wilderson, got into Black existentialism and Afro-pessimism a little bit. So that's fun. So that'll be coming out soon. And then we filmed the part 1 of our Disney video, and we made this long video that's kind of on like the theology of Disney, asking the question, is Disney a religion? I won't tell you what the answer is, but we'll have 2 videos coming out about that. One of the videos also explores how Disney adults hate me and regularly harass me online. So we'll get into that as well. Nelson says, I'm glad even his friends find this guy kind of insufferable. Like, I don't know how much I could take of that guy talking constantly. He's very enthusiastic. Hippopotamus Bosch says Downtown Disney was supposed to be a place for teens. That's when I was a teen, Downtown Disney felt very cool. Burst into Tears says, did you get a Disney Plus credit card to pay for Disney 2-parter video? No, I don't think Disney is going to pay us for talking about them, sadly.
There's a great YouTube channel about old Disney like failed projects or whatever called I think it's called Defunct Land or something like that, but They did an excellent one on Club Disney, which was a club for teens that Disney designed.
Wow.
That failed spectacularly. A really great channel.
Amazing. Who doesn't want to go to a teen club? That felt weird to say.
But that's not the only thing that made this Rainforest Cafe special. This location is the only Rainforest Cafe in the entirety of North America to serve breakfast. That's right, we were there at 9 a.m. and we were going to start our day with a rainforest-themed breakfast feast. This breakfast selection came with its own menu with a slew
Breakfast of Bandits. I'm trying to read it. It's hard to see. Okay, we got Texas.
Somehow
waffles, pie, Forrest Gump breakfast sliders, chicken fried steak, Ozzy's omelet. None of these things.
More ridiculous than the
Breakfast Bandits, Tonga toast, wild waffle, Tukey's oatmeal.
The normal menu. Jurassic chicken tidbits. I raise you Pie of the Viper, a Mexican-style breakfast pizza.
Mexican style. So someone was asking about pizza earlier. So if you can have Mexican style breakfast pizza, you can put pineapple on
It's like they spun those 3 descriptors on a slot machine. We ended up getting the breakfast sliders.
How sad does that look, friends? It's like so it's clearly like a hamburger bun that they just reused, some scrambled eggs with melted cheese, and a piece of that, like the bacon that you would get at like a breakfast buffet, and some really sad potatoes. I think whenever you see food and there's no real color to it, you know you're going to feel pretty bad after you consume it. And in this case, I guess people would be eating that and then walking around a hot, steamy theme park all day. It makes me feel sick. I don't know if that's, yeah. T-Rex, is it toast? Is it a hamburger bun? I don't know. That looks really bad. I bet it was so expensive too.
I don't know if it was because the eggs were fresh or they just put crack in them, but those sliders were good. I also got a...
I kind of don't like the thing people say. This isn't at all. Oh, what's up, the noodle / 40-year-old geek? Glad that you're here. I don't like when people say something is like crack. I feel like we should stop saying that, like, oh, there must be crack.
Because you get let down when it's not as good.
Well, I just think it's like a weird, no one who says that has ever smoked crack.
But
I
also,
would say,
yeah, you don't eat crack either, really, right?
Yeah. So like, I think that, I don't know. I just kind of think that if you're going to say that, earn the right to say it, smoke crack. No one should smoke crack, by the way.
Sure.
But I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I just kind of don't like it. But I'm not, listen, that's fine. We all say stuff. Just don't love
Bloody Mary that morning at 9 a.m. But I only did it because I was trying to get something out of it. But I'll tell you what that is when I finish this trip. Of course, after leaving, the only thing that was on our minds was to go on an actual safari. We saw zebras. We saw giraffes.
That's really sad to me because all of these animals are from a climate that's so different than that of Central Florida. Central Florida is not like an African desert style thing. So I don't know. Yes, Wisecrack. I get it. We should change our name if I don't like the crack.
Monkey. The only thing that would have made this better is if I had a plate full of safari.
Look at how sad some of these animals are.
Safari fries on my lap. I was over the moon. Of course, moments like these can't last forever. So after spending the rest of our day at the Animal Kingdom, our journey would continue as we reach...
Okay, Nashville. I called that one. Christopher said, would Michael be into an interview for my first sketch video, parody of Hot Ones, but instead of hot sauce, we get beat with increasingly large sticks by little old ladies? That sounds insane, but I like it. One time I did do a thing at a sketch show where I got waterboarded, and we figured out how to actually waterboard.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be funny. The person who waterboarded me, I won't say their name. I think Griffin probably knows them because they've been on like a sketch team at the Pack. But there's someone who doesn't seem like they would waterboard. And we figured out how to do it, and we thought it would be funny, but everyone got really uncomfortable. And afterwards, the host of that show said we kind of ruined the vibe of the night because we did that. I think that was different than the show. Oh, that was the same show where then we had the person who waterboarded me beat my comedy partner Sean Ghazi's face with raw meat until he got like cut and bruised. It was dark. So all that I would say, Christopher, make sure you find a thing for that where there's some balance where people just don't feel really uncomfortable, unless that's what you're going for. I mean, I kind of like stuff like that, but what are you going to do? The Negro Superhero says sugar is more addictive than cocaine. I believe that. All right. Oh, 40-year-old geek says stuffing your face with mom's chicken curry right now. I'll be more cogent soon. Curry's great, man. What a good food. What a good food. T-Rex says, by sad, do you mean the animals or the dude? I don't know. I don't know. But John says, nah, waterboarding totes funny. I mean, the point of the waterboarding bit, I'll say this. This is why sometimes I do stuff that only I think is funny. Part of, in my mind, it's like, oh, let's waterboard. Because in this, we'll just make everyone confront the fact that we live in a country where our government does things like this all the time. All the time. And we just act like it doesn't happen. So then it's like, fuck it. You know what? We're going to go for it. Let's just do some waterboarding because that's a part of our life. But some people go to a $5 pay what you can sketch comedy show not to be confronted with war crimes. And I can't blame them for that. Day 12.
Nashville, Tennessee. Possibly the most out-of-the-way rainforest cafe on the entire
This one looks
We
sad.
left so early in the morning that we got there before it had even opened, so we waited. It's an interesting sensation to sit in a mall at 11 a.m. and wait for a rainforest cafe to open.
That's pretty funny,
There was a
Christopher.
shocking amount of people in this rainforest cafe at 11 a.m. And since this location didn't even serve breakfast, what
Club
are you
sandwiches.
here for? Brunch at the Rainforest Cafe? This location is also where we learned an interesting fact about why some of the rainforest cafes get rid of the fish. They spend $3.5
what the fuck?
million a year per location.
Per location?
Wow.
What?
Oh my god.
What? That's crazy.
Who signed off on that?
I don't know. That's wild. Leon said, unrelated question. Do you think an individual's political beliefs are separate from their non-secular beliefs, religious or spiritual, and their beliefs on science and general things? I think it's hard to separate the two sometimes. I think often one's political beliefs are reflective of other things. And then there's, of course, the adage, and I'm not saying I necessarily agree with this, but people will say, no, everything is political. And in a sense, that's kind of true. So whatever your spiritual or secular religious beliefs are, normally have some kind of political effect. Yes. Oh, so we got to make throat share mugs for this. I'm still waiting for someone to make those. Vox says, some people go to a $5 pay what you can comedy show not to be confronted with war crimes. That could be the t-shirt. So there you go. Wow, we're getting some good questions there. Okay, sorry. Hi.
Just for the fish.
That's
which is
fucked
probably
up.
why this fish has been staring me down the whole time we
I don't want to watch fish in a fish tank while I eat food. I definitely couldn't order fish there, but why would you order fish from the Rainforest Cafe?
He knew he was more expensive than me, and he wanted me to know it.
Okay, I want to skip back because we got to wrap up soon. So let's see. There's someplace now. Let's get to the end of this. Oh, here's Chicago.
Stayed with Eddie's mom, and on day 17 for our 16th Rainforest Cafe, we traveled from Chicago to Guernsey.
Oh, did we not see? I'm going to go back to see if we can see, because I thought there's a Chicago one.
Canadian Rainforest Cafe. All we had to do was just pass through Border Patrol.
Once you have that code, then you can seek entry. Right. Entry.
The menu was a bit more custom than your average RFC. Even the fish population
Canadian.
was custom, and by that I mean they had even the animatronic animals seemed to be so no reason to care me on Eddie. We had been to so many thus far, and it was probably impossible for him to figure out what his favorite one was. I really felt
really
for him,
depressing
because I was going through the same thing. From Detroit, we drove to Chicago, where we stayed with Eddie's mom, and on day 17 for our 16th Rainforest
Okay,
Cafe,
so maybe the
we
Chicago one
traveled
isn't
from
open anymore.
Chicago to Gurnee, Illinois, to enjoy another helping of safari fries at the RFC. And this time we
Yeah, they have to be losing their minds.
And
Okay, let's get to the end of this journey. Oh, I went too far to the end. Their concluding thoughts.
So
oh no, we
a few
missed
months
it.
Ago, I
Oops,
made a tweet.
we're not going to watch this video. I had this loaded. Hold on one second. Here's what we're going to do. I'm pivoting. I want to watch one last video, but I'm going to announce something first.
Baby back, baby back, baby back.
Why is it? Does it look normal on the screen here, Griffin?
Yeah.
All right, cool. It's in this tiny window for me. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap up a few minutes early today because Griffin and I have a meeting at 1 p.m. We normally don't have meetings right after. Chicago res COVID, kill the River North RFC. All makes sense. Okay. We're going to do What Are Ya? I'm going to announce What Are Ya? But then we're going to watch the Chili's video because we love it. Okay. So really quick, here's What Are Ya? If you don't remember it, here's what it is. Yeah, we might watch the Big Joel video later. Sorry, Mark, that I showed my cards there. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. What Are Ya? Invented by the Dude Abides, copyright pending. As we let everyone know what we're up to, what we're watching, what we're eating, what we're reading, what games we're playing. Just share a little bit about the content we're consuming and what we like, what we don't like. Maybe you'll find something you want to see from someone else. So start posting that in the chat. And we're going to watch this. This is behind the scenes of the making of the Chili's baby back ribs video.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back,
Chili's baby back ribs. I want my baby back, Chili's baby back ribs.
Barbecue sauce.
The barbecue sauce guy is God.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my.
And they just cut to the guy playing like percussion.
Chili's baby back ribs. I want my baby Chili's baby back ribs.
So, okay, back to the conversation someone had before about, do you want your art to be your job? I mean, there's something kind of sad about the fact that these gentlemen are clearly incredible vocalists, great singers. But, you know, do they love singing about ribs? I don't know. Sometimes it can be weird to take an artistic talent and make that how you make your money.
I want my baby back ribs.
They clearly love those ribs.
I mean, oh, the guy in the studio is like, we got it. You nailed it. Wow. Okay. That's our last clip for today. Okay. So if you have any What Are Yas, let us know them now. Zolio says religion has always been modified to suit economic, political philosophies. Example, the prosperity gospel. Zolio, that's what we're getting into in our Disney video, kind of looking at the relationship between those things. Eddie, thanks for practicing English with us. And Jake, yes, we're having a stroke together. And that's the best way to have a stroke, together. Paul's finishing up a road trip. Oh, yeah, you mentioned this last time. Catching a concert, going to a Red Sox game. That's really great. John Kim says, rib money for personal projects. Of course, that's what you can do. Get the money to make your own shit. 40-Year-Old Geek says, art does not equal job. It definitely does not. Griffin, what are you? Anything you've watched, you're consuming, you're playing that's new from last week? If not, it's fine.
I'm playing a fun game called Raft right now. It's a
cool.
survival game. You start out just on a few planks with a shark circling you, and then you build a whole boat just from trash you find in the water. Is it a message for pollution? I don't know.
Nice. Wait, was there more to this Baby Back Ribs video? One second.
Looks like
Oh,
it.
there is behind the scenes.
Seems like these guys love working together regardless of the context. And maybe that the act of working is the true love more than for, you know, a certain banner.
Yeah. So maybe it's like, would an analogy be there that sometimes in life, people who are talented and good do ads for things and they have fun with it regardless of whether they like believe in the product, right? So we could say that these guys, they're doing this ad for ribs. They're making the most of it because in doing this song for ribs, they're probably going to be able to continue to make their own music, which is poignant. Maybe their music sort of uses, you know, art to analyze popular culture, to encourage people to think, to be critical about functions in society. But to make that, they have to do this, and that's okay. And we can just accept that. I think that that's maybe a way to read this. Am I reading into that, Griffin, or is that just obvious?
I think you should project more.
Project? Oh no, I don't relate to that at all. Kayla's not working in music, but always singing. Mark's playing a ton of Raft. Amari's been watching For All Mankind. You guys, I don't know how much I can tell you that you need to watch for all mankind. Lori says the journey is the friends we made along the way. I love it. Yeah, I'll quickly say the stuff that I'm watching a lot these days. For all mankind, every Thursday, I'm like, let's fucking go. The Boys, every Friday, I'm like, let's fucking go. Miss Marvel on Wednesdays is fun. I'm enjoying it. What else? I've been watching the show Alone because, don't judge me or read into that at all. I've been practicing guitar a lot. I want to take more walks. And
I got a big one for you.
Yeah.
John Early and Kate Berlant, two of
Oh,
my
is that good?
two of my favorite comedians, just came out with a special. It is incredible. I would describe it as sort of like a sketch comedy character special between the two of them. It's incredibly funny. Unfortunately, it's on Peacock, so no one's gonna watch it. Which is a bummer because like even people that I talk to that are hardcore fans of them aren't gonna watch it, and so
so much good comedy stuff is on Peacock.
It's tough. So get a Peacock trial or steal someone else's account because it's super funny, worth watching.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting a Peacock trial at one point and then just busting through a lot of the stuff that looks really good, including the show Bust Down, which looks really good. Cool. Anime is not lame. 40-Year-Old Geek, that's not nice. Let's have good vibes. People like anime. Let's I think there's some good stuff there. And 40-Year-Old Geek, I actually was with you and I was really skeptical towards anime for a while, but watching some for my work at Wisecrack has been very eye-opening. So that's kind of fun. Severance, I still need to watch out, and that's ridiculous that I haven't watched it. I need to watch it. Kayla says was the Kenobi show really a failure. I think it was fine. But it's hard to not have super high expectations when you bring back a character that's been in most of our lives for lots of years. Got it. No, don't be sorry. It's fine. 40-Year-Old Geek, we know you're one of the good ones. So don't worry. This is a space of kindness and listening, forgiveness. God, I should have more friends for What Are Ya? The last thing I'll tell you in What Are Ya is I made a new type of bean last night that I really enjoyed, where I cooked some black beans in a pan with some onions and some garlic and some chilies, then blended them with some vegetable stock, then poured that back into the pan and reduced that and cooked it down. It was really nice.
Ooh, folks, the key ingredient there, vegetable stock. Cook with stocks.
Yeah,
concentrates.
It did. It added a real depth of flavor. And I got some really nice corn tortillas from a local tortilla maker recently. So last night had some really good beans on some really good tortillas with a little salsa matcha on it. It was really delightful. I'm really into beans. So I just, I'm always going to tell you. I'm always going to tell you to eat beans. And also, what's up, Juan? And also, I'll say one last thing. I've been listening a lot recently to the album Marquee Moon by the band Television from the 70s. It's just really good. No, don't apologize, 40-Year-Old Geek. We all have bad spaces sometimes. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're going to wrap up in a sec. As always, check for new videos. Gun Violence is coming out tomorrow. We worked real hard on it. We hope you can spend some time watching it. Share it with people that you like. As always, if you like the stuff we make, do the thumbs up thing. Click the thumbs up. I know it might be annoying, but we got to juice the algorithm, folks. We got to juice it. So when you watch our videos, do the little thumbs up thing. It helps us out. As always, we got some other cool stuff coming. We had a Philosopher Reacts to Atlanta, where we did film a collaboration with Legal Eagle. That's going to be coming out at some point. It's not coming out super soon, but it's coming. It exists. It will be on the way. We got a video on The Boys that's going to be coming out soon. Waiting to watch the finale tomorrow so I can make sure we incorporate all of that into it. We'll be back on the stream next week. So once again, this is every Thursday, 11. We've been a little scranked on our end, but just so you know, oh yeah, T-Rex says, I love it. Smash that like button like a Tory resignation. That rules. I'm going to get some guests on soon. So know that I haven't forgot about that. I'm going to bring some of some of the Wisecrack friends you know and love. I'll leave it at that. People people who've heard on our podcast and other stuff like that. So we'll be doing that. Thanks as always for hanging out in the chat. Penny Waldrop just said making art is about the art piece or about the making of it for you. It's about the making. Go ahead and sell it if someone wants it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, make art because you want to make art. But thanks again for hanging out. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks, of course, to producer Griffin, who's here while doing a bunch of other stuff. I think next month Producer Matt will be back hanging out with you as well. In the meantime, we'll see you soon. Make sure to hit us up. And remember, we have a Patreon page. I'm going to end with a little pitch. If you can afford it, don't be sorry, 40-year-old geek. You have a great one. Zolio says Atlanta good or really good? Good. Really good as a whole. Recent season, just good. Check out our Patreon. We have some extra content on there. If you're someone who's annoyed by the ads, you pay $5 a month. You get the videos early. You get them without ads. You get extra content. You get on the Discord page we have. We have a Discord server. It's pretty fun. Some of you are on there, so you can check that out. So consider the Patreon page. And as always, I always say this, for people that don't like ads and stuff like that, the more we can try to make some income on something like Patreon, the less dependent we are on that stuff. But again, we want to make you stuff for free, so we'll do ads sometimes.
And also, thank you guys for doing live. Like, thank you guys for watching the live stream. Like, that's payment enough. Like, you guys are our most loyal warriors, you know?
Yeah, you're a warrior. So when we, because listen, eventually this chat blast is going to enter society. We're going to be together. When the water wars come, when the climate collapse wars come, we're all together. We're in this together. So think of this as training for what's to come. This is crazy. I should stop.
Our clan will reign supreme. Yes.
Yeah. And just remember too, if you ever miss the stream, if you get here later, whatever, we have a playlist with all of these. You can always check them out after the fact and scroll around and stuff like that. If you have videos you want us to watch or things you want us to talk about, please do hit us up. I'm aware that Vox Popcast, you posted something really good in the Discord that we didn't get to. I apologize. But especially if you are on our Discord, feel free to just hit us up there and we can let us know. Javier just ended with, I hate Steph Curry and the Warriors. What a horrible way to end the stream. Okay, we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week in the meantime.